Hello y'all on YouTube, this is Rob with Rob's Nerdy Knives. Today I have an interesting unboxing for you guys. We were coming back from my son's band competition last night and we stopped at Buc-ee's in Texas. So if you're familiar with Buc-ee's, saltwater taffy, and you can get candy like this. So just wanted to show you what I mean by Buc-ee's if you haven't heard about it. And they have a knife section. This is in Texas, so a lot of places have knives, and I saw this knife and I hadn't been able to find it, and I meant to get it because I thought it would make a great giveaway. And at first, truth be told, I have to tell you, I thought this was probably a different variant because it looked different, but it wasn't. It's the budget version of it. It's a Kershaw, and it's a Kershaw Iridium, a 2038 Kershaw Iridium. And I thought this would make a pretty good giveaway. So today I'm going to be opening it with my Benchmade bug out. This is the 535-4 titanium one with M390 blade steel. And I thought I would do an initial impressions on it because I hadn't had a chance to handle it. I just saw it in the case. Get a little kit there, a little whatever. And here is the Iridium. All right, so this is a, I don't know what they call, do they call this a crossbar? But it's like that. I don't know what Kershaw calls it. If it's a crossbar, able lock, you know, what have you. Now this has the lanyard hole in the back, deep pocket carry clips, relatively deep. Feels like steel liners. Let's see. No, maybe it's aluminum. It's probably aluminum handles. Okay, steel clip. This might be aluminum in the back handle and stuff. Now it does have the crossbar, thumb studs here as well. Looks like a captive pivot. That looks like T8s. Oh, is that T6s? I'm pretty sure that's T6s, but let's just double check that and check with my tools here. So this should be a T8 on the pivot. Well, that's almost a little bigger than that. Let me see if that's a T9. Okay, that's a T9. So I'm seeing more of that. T9s, Briot was doing that, but this looks like this might be T6s. Let's just double check that. And that's got a little bit of room in there, so that might be a T7. I'll have to, I don't have a T7 handy here, but this is the T6. Seems not quite a T6. Seems like there's a little room in there. So we'll have to do that when we do the review. But this I thought would make a great budget knife giveaway. And it looked like a really cool knife, right? I like the little accents, the gold in the back here, black handles. All right, so let's go ahead and flick it open. Nice, almost spear point looking, right? It almost has that spear point. If you just take the shape of the blade itself, kind of pseudo, I don't know. I mean, it's close to a spear point, but it could be a drop point. You can kind of call it a little bit of both. Nice satin finish here. Big, nice wedge on top. Not a super thick blade. This is D2 blade steel. This one's made in China, but this is a pretty good quality one. You do have steel liners. You can see that on the inside, so it's probably aluminum scales on the outside. It is crossbar lock, and the action on this one's pretty good. Let's see. No blade play. But the action is fantastic. Let's see, the centering. Centering is dead nuts. Okay, well that's really impressive. That's really, really impressive. All right, so the grip, I've got large hands, so plenty of room here for the large hands. Definitely a little room for extra large, double extra large hands. Can I choke up here? Yes, you can. There is some jimping here. It's not a whole lot, but there's enough jimping. Just got to be careful with that choil right there. You can definitely do that. So that works pretty nicely. The cutting action, if you follow the cutting blade, the thumb studs are almost out of the way. I am really impressed with the action on this knife. That's really nice. Let's feel how strong is that. I mean, it's not like a strong D10 if you're used to that, right? And it is, yep, it's reversible. So left and right hand carry clip. All the corners are nicely rounded, nothing sharp, which is really, really great. I like that. Access here on the crossbar lock here. It's really good, very easy to get to. And let's see when it goes in, how nicely that clicks. Clicks in pretty solidly. I mean, it's not rocking, but you can feel it going against the crossbar when I pull up, right? You can see as soon as I touch that, it just starts to move, right? So that is due to the Omega spring in there. I mean, which you could probably get another one and get stronger Omega springs if you want it to be much stronger than that. But I mean, this is pretty thin, pretty light. It doesn't feel heavy at all. The blade thickness comes out to a pretty thin tip, but it's pretty robust all the way across, so it definitely has some strength to it. I think that's really nice. I think you're definitely going to enjoy that. pretty long blade length there for sure. That's almost a 3.5-inch blade. You know, overall, this knife is, we are definitely at 8 inches. It's a full-size knife. I do like, this is pretty rounded, beautiful clip, comes up, almost a little too high, not you know, like Benchmade does a smaller loop, if you will. But I do like the recess screws into and the cutout into the actual scale. That's nice, gives you plenty of room for material in and out. So that's outstanding. You know, it's going to be relatively deep carry. I think the priority of that is a bummer, but let's see, how's the utilization? So it's pretty close. I mean, you could have gotten rid of a little bit of here, maybe. Yeah, I mean, that's pretty, blade to handle ratio is not bad. It's not fantastic. Let's see how it is on the bug out if I compare the two. Yeah, it's about the same, I would say, yeah. So it's good. Definitely a contender for a little bit bigger knife. I mean, if we were to compare the two, let's look. Because this is what most people would compare something like this to. You definitely see this is a much bigger knife. As far as handle, where your hands would actually go, you're about the same. Now, this one has a choke-up position, so if you go up to the choke-up position, you definitely have more handle. And if we were to go at the blade length, at the base of the blade, this is definitely a longer blade for sure. So there's that. There's that benefit. If you wanted something just a little bit bigger, this is definitely would be a contender. Now, they dropped a special release on their website. That titanium, I think it was titanium scales, and it was like maybe S35VN blade steel. I wish they'd have more of those. It was a limited release. That went really fast. That would have been a nice knife to have, right? That would have been a really great one. And this is done really, really well. This is not your, it's a different OEM, you know, because I know you get some of these Kershaws and they're really, really cheap knives, and this is not super uber cheap. This is getting up there with my Livewire, right? Quality. It's like, now the Livewire one, I'm not sure if that's, I'm pretty sure that's USA made. So, but this is Chinese made, and that's the reason why you're looking at a $65 knife. But still, I mean, that's a good deal for 65 bucks, I think. I think you're getting good value here. And the action is really, really impressive right out of the box. Look at that. Beautiful drop shot, no blade rock. I mean, so that's easy to use. The axis lock and the thumb stud works really nicely. Reverse, really nicely. You know, left-handed, really nicely. That's really nice. I like that a lot. I'm not sure what that little emblem means right there. Let's see. I can't quite tell that one, if you guys know. But I like it. I like it a lot. All right, so the crossbar lock locks up pretty solidly up here as well. See, and I don't have any of the able crossbar axis lock rock that you occur with the lock. This engages on the tang of the blade here really solidly, so it's not locking this way or rocking this way. And then, you know, you don't have any what I call pivot lash, which is good. That means the phosphor bronze washer is even, all the way controlled all the way around, which is nice. Yeah, this is pretty good. I mean, it's D2 steel, so we are talking a pretty cheap steel. And should D2 steel be 65 bucks? Probably not. I agree. But everything else, the fit and finish, the aluminum scales, everything else like that is really nice. I wish they would have done 14C28N. I really do. I wish it would have been at least 14C28N or some other good budget steel, Nitro V, or, you know, just something just to step up a little bit more than this. But D2 is not terrible. It's just not great. You know, I mean, I would have knocked another 10 bucks off of this. I mean, maybe 55, 45 bucks for something like this, right? But it is done well, and the scales is done well, and the action is really good, and the phosphor, everything else is executed really, really well. I think this would have been a much more enjoyable, sought-after knife with 14C28N or even Nitro V or something like that, right? But still really, really good. And this is ultimately going to be a giveaway on one of my Monday nights. So if you tune in, you know, definitely tune into the live streams, you could win yourself a Kershaw Iridium. That would be a really cool knife to get. So I like it. I'm pretty impressed with it. I would love to have gotten the high-end version of this for my collection, right? That would have been really nice. But this is definitely a really cool knife. I can highly recommend this. Definitely be something that I would give as a gift. Now, if someone thought the bug out was just a little too small, this would be a nice alternative, but still within a very reasonable price range of around 65 bucks, I think. So there you go. I think most people will enjoy this, and will find that this to be a pretty, excuse me, pretty cool knife. What else? So typically, what else do I talk about? I talk about We talk about the blade. We talk about the blade thickness. We do a little close-up look here. It is sharp up here. This could have been chamfered. This is really, really, really sharp. I would recommend maybe a little sandpaper or a little, like a nail file for your nails if you have, just to kind of soften those edges. They're really sharp. You can see, I'll show you here in a second. You'll see that just scrapes the nails right off. So it's almost as sharp as an edge. The edge is pretty good. Edge is pretty even all the way across both sides. Yeah, not bad, not bad. It feels relatively sharp. Feels definitely sharper than the Damas that I recently opened. Don't know if you'll see that review because I've got some issues with that one that I'm trying to get fixed. What else? It is a fixed pivot, which is really cool. I will say everything's nice and smooth. I mean, it's going to break, aluminum scales that's anodized or Cerakoted or whatever this is definitely going to get a little wear on there for sure, right? It is nice satin. I do like the satin finish on here. That's really cool. So that's nice. I think that'll look pretty. Oh, the thumb studs. Thumb studs are really well rounded. They're nice and big, so that gives a great axis. There's good cutaway axis right here. So it does deploy really nicely, both left and right-handed. So that's really nice. I like that. We are dead center. What else? I feel like I'm missing a whole bunch of stuff because I got totally distracted by how really well made this knife is. It's a good job. It's a really good job from Kershaw. I'm thoroughly impressed. This is almost like a new tier and level in design for these guys. Really, really good job. So I think they this is something definitely to be proud of, and a good quality knife here. I do like the reversible deep pocket carry clip. I think that's a win. I like the little accent. The color accent's nice, and it's a full back spacer all the way back, right? And I think it's aluminum as well, because when I did do the test, it didn't attach to that. I do think there's steel liners on the inside, and did we talk about? Yeah, there's no weight relief on those steel liners, but being aluminum, very thin steel liners, I think you're fine. Feels really solid in the hand. Is this? It's not contoured, but it's beautiful. You can see the chamfering all the way around. It's nicely rounded, nothing sharp, so that's comfortable. It does have this kind of a giant mouse goofy lanyard thing, but again, they chamfered this. They didn't leave the sharp corners on there, and that to me makes a big difference when you hold a knife right here. Giant Mouse is notorious for their lanyards to have a really sharp edge, and it digs in and I'll get a blister in my hand. Just despise that. Made him so uncomfortable, and it really makes me mad because it's a knife I want to love and want to own, but every time I have one, it's just so uncomfortable that it's just like, no, I can't do it. I can't do it. Just in an unboxing, holding it here, I start getting a red spot from those. And so if you do that, it's definitely a thumbs down for me. It's out of not something I'll ever carry, because ergonomics and comfort are very, very much important when you're a fidget guy. And it's not the most important, but it's certainly up there. It's a major consideration in quality and build, action, and everything else like that, right? It's for some people, some of those ergonomic things are absolutely not a big deal. They wouldn't consider them at all, wouldn't even think that it's an issue, and they could totally overlook that. I can't. So that's just me. Because after a while, if you use a knife long enough, you're going to notice some things. If you have a really, really sharp corner here and it's digging in and constantly causing you to get blisters or cut your hand, you're not going to enjoy that. After a while, you're going to say, no. Right? The jimping here, I mean, it's what, 3? It works, but it's 3. I mean, okay, but 3. That could be a little bit better. It's a pretty thin blade. It definitely comes down to a nice slicey edge. Can choke up, I talk about. What else? I feel like I'm missing something else. Anyways, sorry about that. After that long band competition, getting home at 2 o'clock in the morning, getting to sleep about 3, brain's a little foggy and a little tired, so... it is a pretty cool knife. We'll do a full review when we're probably a little more awake as well, right? But I'm pretty darn impressed with this Iridium. I got to tell you, this is not a bad knife at all. So definitely worth your consideration. Yeah, that's not bad at all. Well, let's do some couple of quick close-up pictures so you guys can take a look at the blade here. I will try to do Band-Aid less because I know some people don't like that. And there's the blade. You can see that. And here's the handle. Let's do the whole knife together. If you want to pause and take a look at that. All right, we'll do the reverse. We'll start off with the blade as well here. Here's the blade. And here's the handle. Let's do the whole knife as well here. We'll do the top. We'll do the bottom. And then we'll close it. That action is just really impressive for a crossbar lock. We'll do the other side here. All right. So that's the Iridium. So make sure I pronounce it. Yeah. Iridium. The 2038 from Kershaw. Not a bad little knife at all. Pretty impressive there. All right, well, hey, if you found this content fun, interesting, worthwhile, entertaining, or informative, would you please consider hitting the like button down below? If you've already hit that like button, would you please consider hitting the subscribe button? Subscribing and liking the videos really helps out the channel, allows me to produce more content, do more things, and ultimately do more things for you guys. Thank you very, very much. If you've done all that, maybe consider hitting the notification button so